Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us in another episode of the Poems Quill, where we find the truth about the poem and the poet. Today we are going to interview the poet of They Stole My Flame, a pastiche.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I am really honored. I will try my best to answer every single question.
A pastiche?
Yes, a pastiche. This is the type of poem where I am imitating the style of a certain poet. So the poet I choose here is Emily Dickinson, and I am going to focus on her poem They Shut Me Up in a Prose, and I will try my best. I tried my best to imitate the style of her writing and punctuation and structure.
What choices did you make in adapting the poem, and why?
So I had to make many choices so that I could adapt the poem for my own taste and my belief. So it consisted of me choosing which are the main elements from Emily Dickinson's style and poem that I'm going to use. And some of the ones that I focused more on were enjambment or repetition, capitalization, punctuation, metaphor, and imagery. And there are some more, but these are the main ones, okay? So the reason that I chose each element is that these were the main parts of Emily's signature style, and they also helped me persuade and convince my audience more than the other ones. So that is why I made the choices.
How do the language, tone, structure, and delivery of your poem work to persuade or influence the audience?
Let's first start with tone and language. So tone and language, they work together so I can persuade the audience, okay? So for instance, when I use a word that consists of an emotion, we can say, the tone will adapt itself so that these two work to that certain emotion, okay? For instance, in the phrase that I use, they wept. The word wept is a sad word and it is always connected to crying and sobbing, okay? So the tone will also be depressed and sad. I also used a variety of literary devices so that I could persuade my audience, of course. For instance, I use a lot of symbolism, and this helps the audience recognize and understand the words I emphasize on. This makes them think about the words and they will be like, okay, what does she want me to understand, For instance, the symbolism of the word fish. I wouldn't just write fish in my poem for no reason. Why would I? So if I wrote fish, it might mean maybe I'm illustrating the difference of someone. It's up to the reader to understand what I meant. Next is the style, the structure I used. For instance, I capitalize certain words so that my audience thinks about it again, and this is how they will be persuaded by thinking about it all the time. But I think the most important one, in my opinion, is imagery, visual imagery. So think about this. When you see a picture, you visualize something, you get a certain emotion from it. And this emotion will dominate your logic in some way, okay? So when we poets use imagery, we are making the audience visualize a certain image, and this visualization creates an emotion, and this creates pathos, which influences the audience's emotions and it persuades them.
How your pastiche poem challenges or altered the original message, and how your new message reflects your personal beliefs or values.
So my poem altered the message of Emily Dickinson, They Shut Me Up in a Prose poem. And the message of the original poem was how the society suppresses women and their voices, and how they don't let women speak their mind and express themselves in any creative way. And it also wants to tell that creativity has no boundaries and it will always be free, okay? But mine talks more about how society oppresses new ideas and how it oppresses differences. And it also wants to show the strength of hope and the resilience of hope. It connects to me personally because I have always relied on hope in my darkest times, and I have seen the strength of hope when you believe it. It's also a little bit of an allusion to Emily Dickinson's hope is a thing with feathers, but not that much, okay? But I have also seen how when you're different, people don't accept you easily and they will judge you quickly. So that's why these are the themes. So I connected these two ideas so that people know how hope is strong and how it will support you throughout the whole journey. This is what I want everyone to remember. Dive in, find your truth, complete the story with your perspective, and let it inspire you to write. I've started it, now let's see how you finish it.
Thank you for your time and your inspiring words.
No, thank you for inviting me, and I hope that everyone enjoys.